Okay, now the story in The Expendables is pretty simple. It's not fantastic at all. It's pretty bland, but it keeps you entertained. The whole story is a bunch of mercenaries named the Expendables. They don't give a reason why they named them the Expendables, but the Expendables. Who gives a damn? Anyway, they have to pretty much and do this one pretty much last job. It's not really the last job, but it's pretty much the last one that really matters to us. Anyway, they have to do this big mission where they pretty much have to overthrow this dictator who is an asshole. So they have to go and overthrow him, and pretty much Sylvester Stallone's character in this film only wants to do this to save this girl that is the daughter of the dictator, mostly because he wants to at least have some of his sanity or whatever intact, because he pretty much I don't know, he just wants to save her. Yeah, she's hot, so whatever. That's the real reason. He gives us this bullshit like, oh, I want to keep my morality intact, all this bullshit. No, it's bullshit. She was hot. We all know. So they pretty much go and blow shit up and kill the dictator. And the end. Really, the story ain't that fantastic. So anybody else want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I'll just comment. I agree. The story was definitely nothing special, but going into this movie, you're not expecting a great story. And for what it was, I mean, it wasn't horrible for what it was, but like compared to a lot of the other movies, it was like the most basic story they could have possibly come up with. But I'm not gonna lie, it kept me entertained. So yeah, it was all right. Wow, the acting in the Expendables really wasn't anything spectacular, just like the story. But of course, it wasn't like horrible too. Like I love all these action stars. I mean, Jet Li, Jason Statham, uh, Sylvester Stallone. Obviously, they were all themselves. They all played their normal part, and it was awesome. I'm actually surprised on how funny I thought Jet Li was. I thought that he was actually kind of the comic relief of the movie. I mean, there was a face that I wasn't expecting to see in there was, I think his name is David Zayas. He plays Angel Batista in Dexter, which I'm a huge fan of, and he is like the nicest guy in Angel. So seeing him play this dictator was just hard for me to watch because I couldn't take him seriously. But if you haven't seen Dexter, you're good with that. But overall, I mean, all the other pro wrestler guys, they were good. They weren't great. Sean, I forget his name, the big bald guy. He was all right, and the big blonde guy, that's what I know him as. He was good also. So overall, acting decent, not great. Got the job done for this movie. How about you?
Yeah, I thought the acting was actually better than I thought. Sylvester Stallone is always great, even though some people don't understand what he's saying. I thought he was fine. I understood what he was saying. Jason Statham is it was one of my favorite action stars. So, and he was probably the best in the film. He was the most badass, and he probably had the best actual dialogue. Jet Li was really good. Jet Li's Jet Li. Dolph Lundgren is who is the big blonde guy you were talking about. He's actually really good. He's probably the best. I would say he's probably well, I would say the second best actor. He's just not in it as much, so that's why I would say Jason is a little bit better. Eric Roberts plays the bad guy. He's Julia Roberts' fucking brother. Who cares? Randy Couture is the one of the bald professional wrestlers. He's pretty good. He's not the greatest actor, but for what he is, which is a UFC wrestler, not really a actor, he did pretty decent. Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, like I know him
That's who
as.
it was.
Yeah, he's another bald wrestler. Well, Randy Couture's not bald, whatever. Steve Austin, yeah, he's pretty badass. He doesn't do a great job acting, but he's pretty badass fighting. Terry Crews is the big, awesome black guy, and of course he's awesome. Sorry if that sounded racist. Anyway, Mickey Rourke, barely in the film also, but he was actually really good. He's probably one of my favorite characters. I mean, I have a lot of favorite characters in this film because I really enjoyed it. But yeah, he's a definite favorite of mine, and he was pretty badass for someone that didn't actually fight. So overall, I thought the acting was really good. Okay, now the action in the Expendables, I have to admit, was pretty badass. Now, some people, James, will think that there's not that much action in the film, but I thought there was actually plenty for something that wasn't that long. I mean, it's not as long as something like Scott Pilgrim, which was about 2 hours long. This is about an hour, a little over an hour and a half, if you don't count the credits, because who the hell does? And I thought it was really badass. I thought it was just fun as hell. Now, I do have a few problems, like James will say. There's a few slow parts, like maybe in the beginning there's not as much action, but I have to admit that after an hour, and they go to the big place where they're gonna, have their big fight out and kill the dictator guy. Ooh, it's pretty badass because it's pretty much 30 minutes of Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, and everybody else blowing shit up and killing people with shotguns, blowing people's faces off. I mean, it's a pretty bloody movie. So overall, I thought the action was really fun. What did you think?
All right. Well, of course, I didn't think there was enough action in it. I mean, in the beginning, the very opening scene was awesome on the boat, and I was like, yes, ready for this action-packed movie. Then, bam. After that, I would say until the last 15 minutes of the movie, there was maybe one action scene with Jason Statham fighting a bunch of guys on a basketball court. Honestly, I mean, it was badass, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't enough for me. I felt like they were trying to focus too much on the story when I just wanted to see guys get blown up, which I did, just not as frequently as I wanted to. But the last battle, it made up for most of my complaints. It was epic. It was badass. All these big action stars fighting against each other was just a sight to see. It was awesome, and it definitely redeemed itself for the slow parts in the movie. So overall, even though I had complaints that there wasn't enough, I did think the action was pretty good. Okay, so overall, The Expendables, it was a kick-ass movie for what it set out to be. Not enough action for me overall until the end, which mostly made up for it, but still, in the long run, I don't know if I would watch it. I might watch it one more time because I don't know, it was just not enough action in the main movie for me just to get to the end. So, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would probably give it maybe a 7.3, just because it was great for what it was. It wasn't outstanding. It wasn't like contender for best movie of the year, but it was a good movie for what it was. So 7.3, go see it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, okay, I agree, but I like it a little bit more. I thought there was plenty of action. I was never really bored. I mean, I was getting a little bored, but I never got bored, because when I was getting a little bored, then a badass action scene with Jason Statham blowing people up with a freaking turret of an airplane, and I was like, sweet. And yeah, I just thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't think it was fantastic. I thought it was going to be much better, but still, I mean, I thought I was going to have much more memorable characters than we got in the movie, but for what it is, it's still a lot of fun. And I give it an 8. I'll just give it a solid 8 out of 10. So, yeah. You don't want to say anything else? Huh?
If you have a bunch of guys that you want to go see this movie with, don't do it. Bring your girlfriend or something. So it'll be hilarious, and it's payback for Twilight.
Oh, yeah.
Just
Payback.
throwing that out there. Payback
Or
the bitch.
If you want to torture your friends, you could go see Vampires Suck now in theaters. Alright, so, okay.
Yeah, alright, that's about it.
Yeah, I'm done. Bye.